Today we have a great guest, Chrissy Now. She has an amazing testimony and some great training on social media. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over. There you go.
Hi guys, thank you so much for joining, and thank you so much, Tana, for having me as a guest. I feel blessed to be able to do this. It's one of the things that I just truly love doing, and little did I know when I started my Plexus journey that that was even going to be something even in the works. I started Plexus because I just wanted to lose some weight. Vanity definitely was my main motivator, and I had done many network marketing things prior and wasn't interested in that at all. And so when the products started to work and other things started to resolve, I thought, okay, maybe there's more to it. And so I started researching, and then I realized everything that we had available to us. And it's just been a huge, huge blessing. To date, I am down over 25 pounds and 2 shirt sizes, 1 pant size, and I'm off all prescription medicines. And I was just a sick person, and living my life day to day, just sort of going through the motions. And beginning in my early 20s, every doctor's appointment, it was another prescription medicine that I was going to be put on. And because I, trusted the medical professionals that I was seeing, I just continued, filling the prescriptions, and ultimately feeling worse and worse and worse until I hit, rock bottom before Plexus. And it took a lot of counseling and a lot of searching to get to a place where I was coming out of, this darkness and enter Plexus, and my life has just improved so far beyond measure. It's absolutely just takes my breath away. I'm left speechless when I think about it, to the core, just because it's a God thing, and I am so blessed that the products came into my life. But so tonight, to lighten the mood, I apologize. I trying to do my best not to start crying because it's so easy to do. But tonight we're going to be talking about social media, which is absolutely one of my favorite things to talk about. I probably spend too much time on social media. Before I was ever even getting paid to do that, I was on social media friending everybody from my past because I wanted to know what was going on with their life. But enter Plexus and the awesome business opportunity and products that we have to share, and it's just been sort of a match made in heaven. My husband's so happy now that I'm not just wasting my time on social media, taking the quizzes and playing games and all that jazz, that I'm actually helping people and contributing to our family's financial future. So social media is huge. And if you guys have the handout that was uploaded, if you want to grab that, we're just going to do sort of an overview. I don't know if you guys can see, but anyhow, so social media is huge. Basically, 71% of adults that are on social media are actually on Facebook. So the majority of what I'm going to talk about tonight is going to be primarily Facebook based, just because it seems to be the general media that everybody seems to be comfortable using, no matter whether you're young or, a little bit more tenured. And Facebook was actually the first social media outlet to surpass 1 billion registered active users. And that was as of January. And so it's just increased greatly since then. And it's a great tool. I think Facebook is really great because you have that interaction capability. You can take messages private, and it's more than just a quick tweet. And with Plexus, I found that most of my success is with rekindling those relationships that I've had, whether it's been with past coworkers, old neighbors, and such. And you can't do that with just a snapshot or just a quick one-liner. And so it's just a great tool for Plexus because we have so many awesome testimonies and awesome, knowledge to share about our products. But there are other outlets. You've got Pinterest, you've got Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and it's also about knowing your market. Obviously, if you're on LinkedIn, that's usually something that business professionals use. And so it's not that the market's not out there. I mean, everybody can use the products that we've got to offer, and everybody could benefit from the business opportunity. But you're going to have to learn how to really target what it is that what your goal is. And ultimately that's also knowing what your brand is. So, making the best decision for you. If you're not on social media currently and it's like a completely foreign thing, I would strongly recommend just picking one outlet and really delving into it and learning that. It's better to be, it's better to be focused on that until you're comfortable, and then maybe spreading your wings and trying something else. So for me, Facebook is something that I've done so long that I don't even think about it. So the challenge for me is like things like Pinterest. I have an account and I'm just now starting to learn the benefits and the potential that Pinterest has. So for instance, Pinterest and Instagram are basically, they're like the up and coming. They're a different type of media. The key to their success is with Pinterest, and oddly, I just learned this. Pinterest actually has a search capability, a search engine that, how everybody says now, oh, I'm just going to Google it, or why don't you Google it? Even if you're not using that search engine, maybe you're using Yahoo or Bing, but they've branded themselves really well. Well, now Pinterest is the place where even like my husband will go to find recipes or to find things because of the way that it's being utilized. And all these people have these boards, and it's like a one-stop shop where you can go and find tons of things, whether it's projects, do it yourself, recipes. And so it's something that I'm learning, but it is the fastest growing social media avenue right now. So you have tons of potential if you're not there yet to grow your business really well there. Then we've got Google Plus, which is what we're hanging out on tonight, Google Hangouts. And I'm still new to that as well. But I had no idea that Google and YouTube were actually connected. And that's a huge benefit to the Google Plus outlet because, YouTube is like vlogging, video blogging, and Google is now becoming a very cool way to connect in a different manner in terms of growing your circles because of the the emails, and then your professions, all of that's listed on your profile. And it's a different avenue than Facebook. And it's sort of got the best of everything because they're trying to utilize all of the outlets that they've got to their what is it called? To their access. So something that Facebook doesn't have. Let's see here. If you go to page 2, social media musts, we'll just go down things and tips that I've used to work smarter, not harder. I mean, our time is valuable, especially if you're using your extra time to build your business part-time, which is what I'm doing. I work full-time in corporate America. And so when I get home from work, I'm trying to fit everything in the nooks and crannies. So any sort of tip that I can find that will make it easier and faster is an awesome way to make the most of it. So create notes on your mobile device. So if you've got frequently asked questions or common responses that you find yourself that having to write out all the time, go ahead and create a little note section on your phone, whether it's iPhone or Android. Both have the capability, and type out common questions, common responses, so that you're able to just copy and paste if you're on the go. And if you do have iPhone or iPad, you have the capability of sharing between devices. And so any of the notes that I come up with on my phone, I can access on my iPad. And so it makes it easier where I'm not trying to find things. If you don't have that capability, you can always maybe email it to yourself and put it in a heading so that you know where to find it and you can create a folder. I've also done that as well. Creating keyboard shortcuts, which is another great thing. For instance, if you're having to type out your website all the time, my website is called peopleloveplexus.com. I have a keyboard shortcut set up where I just type in 3 letters and then all of it populates so that I'm not having to type all of that out. You can save frequently visited websites on your phone. So there's the way for you to go to a website and then you can utilize and pardon me because I only use iPhone. There's a button that you can choose to either forward, and then there will be an option that says save to home screen. And then that way you're not having to go every single time and try and find the website. You can also now copy and paste. Now, this is a little even outdated because with the most recent Facebook update version, you're able to actually copy and paste directly from comments now, whereas before you could only do that if you were on the desktop full version through your search engine. So on iPhone, it would be Safari. And now with their most recent update, if you haven't figured that out, you are able to actually copy and paste straight from the comment, which I was like, woo, super excited about that. And there's also an app for Facebook called Groups. So if you're part of larger groups, a team page, any of that, I strongly suggest downloading that app because it's a little bit easier to utilize the search function, especially if you're trying to search for testimonies or you saw something and you knew the keyword, but you don't remember the date that it was posted. If you're using that Groups app, you can search through there with the keywords and then find it pretty easily. And it's better than using the search bar on the general Facebook page, because usually that'll bring up other pages, other people. It sort of searches the whole Facebook network versus the Groups app. You can actually search just within that group. So you're not having to go through all that other information. Posting on Facebook. This is really huge, especially if you're new to social media. This may be something a little bit out of your comfort zone, but a good general rule of thumb is to keep it 80% personal and 20% business. And the reason is because social media is all about interaction. And, if you want to have it strictly, everything Plexus, you might consider actually making a business page, because then you're not spamming your friends and you won't get the unfollow or the unfriend. I've had it myself where people I thought I was friends with apparently clicked unfriend because they got tired of seeing my posts. So I had to really step back and do a better job of posting things about what my husband and I are doing, about my dogs, about, things that I've got going on, not just Plexus related. And I think the more passionate you become about Plexus, it's hard to separate that, just because you are so passionate and it just sort of overflows into all of the aspects of your life because it's so great. But just remembering that some people are not at that, they're not ready yet, and so they just look at it as sort of a nuisance. And then the other thing is if they get used to you posting about it all the time, just like billboards or commercials, you get used to people just sort of like toning you out and zoning you out. So it's not as effective. So if you're posting more about interesting things that you've learned, you don't necessarily it doesn't have to be blaring like this is Plexus for it to go a long way. And I have some people on my team who were never a part of social media, prior to Plexus entering. I mean, they had it to sort of just have, but they weren't actively using it. And so for them, it's even more hard because they weren't posting about things going on in their life. And then all of a sudden they're posting about Plexus 3-4 times a day. And so that's all their family and friends see. So it's taking that step back and then realizing, okay, I need to do a better job of, talking about the things that I'm doing in my everyday, or the things that I'm learning. Like I have somebody who's in a nutrition class, which is something to just help personal growth. And so she'll post about that. And even though it's health related, it's not directly Plexus. And so people find that interesting and maybe not as, spammy. What else? You can schedule your posts through a multitude of different tools now. The original one that I was aware of was called Hootsuite, but now there's also another tool called Buffer, EveryPost, ScentShare, TinyTorch. There's tons available. Some of them have the capability of doing mobile apps, and some are not. Some are just on your computer, but all of them have been very user-friendly. Most of them have a free model for you to use, and if you want to upgrade so that you're able to post more frequently or do a little bit more advanced things, you can do so. I pretty much just take advantage of all the free tools that we have to our access. And then also with the Facebook business pages, they have that capability as well, where you can plan drafts out. So if you know you're going to be on vacation, or you work during the day, so you're not going to be able to post, you can do so. And it doesn't have to be like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I mean, if you want it to be at 7:08 in the morning, it'll do it for you. And I suggest actually planning it like that so that it doesn't look so calculated. Also, being visible in terms of being interactive on Facebook, not just liking other people's comments, but actually commenting. And I strongly suggest creating separate friends lists. You can actually go in and title a group and put maybe all of your friends from elementary school, or you can title it, church friends, high school friends, or maybe non-Plexus friends, and even create a group for Plexus friends as well. And they can be utilized in different ways. So for the ones that are non-Plexus, it's a way for you to interact, because when you actually go in and like their pages, or excuse me, not their pages, their comments or their pictures that they're posting, then Facebook has this algorithm that it realizes, hey, you guys really know each other, and now your information is going to appear more often in their news feed, and vice versa. And the same goes for when somebody likes or comments one of your posts, then Facebook realizes, hey, they're really friends. This person wants to know more about what's going on in, Jane Doe's newsfeed. And so your information gets, shared. And, I've had that happen recently, where I hadn't talked to somebody for a little while, and they reached out to me and said, hey, what are you doing? And I went to their page and started clicking on some of the things that they, had going on in their life, their kids at the zoo. And now all of a sudden they're appearing in my newsfeed, and it wasn't anything that I did, calculated in terms of getting connected. It was just an honest, oh, I want to know what's going on in their life. So that's important with the interaction. And then also, if their privacy setting isn't set to, strictly private, then your posts will also appear in friends of friends. So it's a great way for you to expand your network. What else? Be consistent. That's another huge thing. The fact that you are consistently posting about Plexus and about your life shows, and people are watching. Even if they're not commenting or liking, they are watching you. And so inconsistency speaks even louder. So if you're all gung-ho and posting up a storm, and then all of a sudden you're not, that sends a message to people, which is why you can utilize things like the scheduled posts to help from that happening. Obviously, if you are working full time, or you've got kids, or you've got other commitments, consider, all right, well, from 7 o'clock to 7:30 at night is going to be the time when I can catch up. Or for me, I on Sunday nights plan out some of the posts throughout the week, because I know that time gets away from me during the business day. And so I've got things planned on my business page. And then testing, they always say, if at first you don't succeed, try and try again. Well, that is so true. Sometimes it's not a matter of the content that you're posting. It's a matter of maybe the time that you're posting. just because you post it doesn't mean that everybody sees it. And as your friends grow, it'll be less and less common for you to keep up with everything that people are posting. Even with my family and friends, I've got tons of friends now on Facebook, and so I don't always see everything that they are posting, and it's stuff that I actually want to be clued in on. Like my nephew just had a track meet. So there's ways that you can actually set it to have, all your family members where they're always going to populate in your news feed first before other friends. That's the great thing with Facebook now, especially. You didn't used to have this capability, but now you can. Other ideas when you're utilizing the friends list is, say, for instance, you have no idea what you want to post. You're just like completely dry in terms of ideas of, I've already posted about weight loss. I've already posted about, my personal success. I need another good testimony because I have a friend who's got a migraine. So you can go to your Plexus friends and just stream through all of their posts, anything that you want to utilize, and then save it for later. It's a great, great tool. The other thing to consider is if you're using Facebook, the times to post on Facebook, oddly enough, where they've tracked the highest volume is from 1 to 4 p.m. I don't know if it's because people are like coming back from lunch. And then the other time, of course, with Facebook is going to be on the weekends. But if you're utilizing LinkedIn, for instance, most people access LinkedIn from a desktop, not from a mobile device. So they are most visited on LinkedIn websites from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. and from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. So sharing information at the right times is always going to be crucial in terms of getting feedback. The other thing to consider is, something called a call to action post, which basically will engage everybody, men, women, whatever it may be. And there's varying posts that you can put out there. But for instance, one that I absolutely love, and I do more than once a year, is the great debate, and it's about how toilet paper should be put on on the roll, and everybody has a passionate opinion about it. And guess what? Every time somebody's commenting or liking that, you are appearing in their news feed. So it's just that extra bit of touch that you're able to connect with them, and then, hey, lo and behold, they're going to see maybe a Plexus post that you've got on there, and it's gonna hit them. And then I guess just be patient. I think most of us have learned about Plexus through social media. I know, the last training I did, like 90% of the room had heard about it on Facebook, actually, but through some sort of social media. And I watched my friend for a good 3 or 4 months before I was like, all right, I'm at a point where I'm tired of watching her posts. I'm just going to give it a try. And honestly, I didn't think it was going to work. So it was just going to be one of those things that I did, and then I would be able to say I did it and move on. But people are still watching. I mean, we look at Jen Hawkins, and she's been doing this now 3 years, and she still has people who've been watching her 3 years, all the success that she's achieved with this business, and they're still watching and finally deciding now, 3 years later, I'm going to go for it. So be patient and be persistent and be passionate. Know that what you've got is great. And if you're struggling, there's a ton of us out here to help you. If you haven't friended me already, you can find me on Facebook, and I'm happy to add you. And if you've got questions, I'm happy to answer them. It's all about, learning as we go. And the great thing is that you can still be earning and building a business as you're learning. You don't have to be an expert on a multitude of things. I mean, you can just learn gradually and be very, very, very successful. So any questions?
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. You've got great information. The only thing I wanted to add was at the last training, Jen Hawkins was telling us if you're coming across a post that you really like, save the picture, and then you can copy and message yourself, create a message yourself, which creates a log too if you don't want to, if you can't do an email or whatever. And I've been really utilizing that. It used to be that I'd screenshot the picture and then I'd go back and search for it, and now it's made it a lot easier. So thank you for coming and being our guest tonight and helping us out and stuff. We really appreciate it, and all the great information. You guys just go check out the file I uploaded if you haven't already. It's got all the information we covered tonight. It's great information. And if you guys have any questions, let either one of us know, or any of the leaders in the Boom team. Thank you guys, and have a good evening.